Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Etkinlik süresince mikrofonlarınızın seslerini kapalı tutarsanız çok memnun oluruz, seslerin karışmaması için. Yavaş yavaş katılımcılarımız da etkinliğimize giriyorlar. Onları da bekledik. Bugün Kolombiya Büyükelçiliği ile yaptığımız bu güzel etkinlikte hep beraberiz. Tekrar hoş geldiniz. Bugünkü etkinliğimizde ilk kısımda Kolombiya'nın en fazla ödül kazanan kahvesi San Alberto ile uygulamalı kahve yapımını dinliyor olacaksınız Juan Pablo Vilato'dan. Daha sonrasında ise Kolombiya kahvesi ile ilgili bilmeniz gereken her şeyi Kolombiya Kahve Üreticileri Federasyonu tarafından Carlos Armando'dan dinliyor olacağız. İkinci kısmımızda ise özel bir Parabest yapımını Le Cordon Bleu eğitmen şefimiz Mark Puke, Kolombiya kahvesinin Türk fındığıyla buluşmasını, bizlerle sunumunu, yapımını ve tüm detaylarını anlatıyor olacak. Ben sözü ekselansları Julio Aníbal Rihanyo'ya ve Sayın Kültür Ateşesi Daniel Boharges Gutierrez'e bırakıyorum. Tekrar hoş geldiniz.
Hello, welcome all. Thank you for being here in this afternoon of Colombian coffee at Le Cordon Bleu from the Embassy of Colombia. We have organized this activity within the framework of the plan for the promotion of Colombia abroad with the cooperation of our official commercial office, ProColombia, as well as the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia and Café San Alberto. We are very excited to be here with you and to share a bit of our culture. And now I'm going to cede the word to His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Julio Aníbal Reaño, who will give us some opening remarks. Mr. Ambassador.
Este evento tiene una significación especial por el espíritu de fraternidad que lo alienta, pues qué mejor que el café declarado por la UNESCO como Patrimonio Inmaterial de la Humanidad para afirmar la cercanía entre Colombia y Turquía. Nuestro reconocimiento a Le Cordon Bleu Estambul, a su directora Defne Tisisiloglu y a su equipo por tan loable iniciativa y en medio de esta contingencia. Gracias también al chef Marc Fouquet, quien finalizará la tarde con una exquisita receta de repostería francesa con café colombiano. Retomando el tema del café, reza la historia que un notable colombiano dijo la frase que se tornó posteriormente en sentencia al referirse al café de nuestro país: Colombia, ¿es café o no es? Eso continuamos sabiéndolo todos los colombianos. Es uno de nuestros más emblemáticos símbolos. El mundo se nos hace menos duro cuando se nos ha deparado la oportunidad de saborear la mejor bebida para leer y conversar del amor y del quehacer cotidiano alrededor de lo que los colombianos denominamos tinto o tintico. Ergo, tanto para turcos como para colombianos, el café hace parte de nuestro acervo, de nuestro entorno cultural. Amén de ello, lo que encarna el tomar una taza de café en compañía es una demostración de iniciar un voto de confianza y de afianzar el valor de la amistad. Por ello, qué grato prevalernos de lo que nos une aún más con los turcos y a los colombianos y poder compartir esta tarde de café colombiano en Le Cordon Bleu, Estambul, un evento del Plan de Promoción de Colombia en el Exterior. Carlos Armando Uribe, quien es el director de Asuntos Gremiales de la Federación Nacional de Cafeteros de Colombia, develará por qué es tan especial el café colombiano y la cultura que lo rodea. Posteriormente, Juan Pablo Villota, quien es experto catador y conocedor de café, nos mostrará cómo apreciar y preparar café colombiano de la más alta calidad. Justamente, Juan Pablo Villota es el fundador de Café San Alberto, el cual es considerado el café más premiado de Colombia. Sin más preámbulos, quisiera agradecer a quienes hoy nos acompañan y anunciarles a los ganadores de nuestro concurso de registro que muy pronto recibirán un obsequio de café de la más alta calidad con el cual estamos apoyando la sostenibilidad en la comunidad indígena Arhuaca de la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, lo que les permitirá apreciar en sus casas el inconfundible aroma del café colombiano. Que este evento sea un motivo más para afianzar los lazos de amistad entre Colombia y Turquía y corroborar el acerto con el proverbio turco: una taza de café trae 40 años de amistad. Los invito a que tomemos un tintico o un café de Colombia. Salud.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I would like now to cede the word to Mrs. Defne, who is the Director of Operations at Le Cordon Bleu. Mrs. Defne, please.
Ekselansları Juliani Barriano, Sayın Kültür Ateşesi Daniela Borges Gutierrez, biz de bu güzel etkinlikte sizlerle beraber olmaktan çok büyük mutluluk duyuyoruz. Böylece gerçekten aramızda sıcak bir kahveyle güzel bir ilişkiyi de başlatmış olduk. Yemek içmek bence de gastro diplomasi için en güzel örneklerden biri. Bir yemeği paylaşmak, bir içeceği paylaşmak, aslında biraz da kalbimizden en sıcak duyguları paylaşmakla beraber gidiyor. Bugün biz de Carlos Armando Uribe'nin yapacağı konuşmayı ve ardından da Juan Pablo Vilota'nın bize göstereceği bu güzel barista eğitimini heyecanla bekliyoruz. Belirttiğiniz gibi ardından da Mark Poque gerçekten bizim için çok özel bir yeni reçete hazırladı. Kolombiya kahvesinin kullanacağı. Böylece farklı mutfaklardan farklı ürünlerin bir arada kullanıldığı ve dostlukların da olması gerektiğini gösteren güzel bir etkinlik yapmış oluyoruz. Buna vesile olduğunuz için çok çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Tüm katılımcılarımıza da katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz. Keyifli bir etkinlik olmasını diliyorum. Teşekkür ederim.
We have been a trend since we remembered it. We are the new wave of Colombian coffee.
Ekran şu anda tam göremedik zannediyorum.
Tired of the usual.
Oh, the screen. Let me check. I am here sharing my screen, but I don't know how to share directly. I'm saying that the host inhabilitated the function to for the participants to share the screen. Could you please habilitate it again for me?
Certainly.
Thank you so much. So right now we're going to see the conference by the National Federation of Colombia as soon as we manage to screen it to all of you. Thank you.
while we are arranging the technical problem, I think I have to mention that the advantage of pandemic is probably we are capable of doing some Zoom meetings, but sometimes there are some technical problems. Yes, we can see the screen now. Perfect.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
An excellent quality drink that is made to be enjoyed by all palates around the world. Be welcome, all of you. Well, and now I invite you to watch a video that summarizes what we are going to learn in this journey. Let's watch this video, Colombia, Land of Diversity.
Colombia, 2 seas, the Amazon rainforest, the Andes, 3 mountain ranges, volcanic soils, sun and rain every month of the year, as if the evolution of the earth occurred to create the greatest lands for growing coffee. Colombia, land of diversity. Some coffees grow in jungles with non-stop rain, others in forests with native trees, in coastal mountains, in paramos, on shady plains with fruit and citrus orchards. Only Arabic coffees that grow between 800 and 2,300 meters above sea level. A variety of soils, altitudes, rainy seasons, sun, all working together to create a rich universe of sensations. Next to year-round snow-capped mountains, beans that ripen at low temperatures amidst the clouds, or places with a lot of light and less rainfall. Some turn out more balanced, others more acidic and intense. Some are sweet, with hints of hazelnut or chocolate, and enduring floral or fruity aromas. Harvests all year long, coffee that is always fresh, beans that are collected, washed, dried completely by hand. Small plots of land, family farms, more than 545,000 coffee-growing families that see themselves as artists, treating the beans like their masterpieces. Responsible production that helps to protect the biodiversity of the land, with high standards of sustainability and economic benefits for both community welfare and the coffee-growing families. Among their best creations are organic coffees, regional varieties, single origin coffees grown in small batches on unique farms, coffees whose qualities make them second to none. When you are offered a cup of Colombian coffee, remember, the perfect land, the warmest people, the best coffee. Colombia, land of diversity.
My name is Carlos Armando Uribe. I'm an agronomist. I've worked at the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation for about 38 years. And how nice it is to share with you all this knowledge on coffee. Everything about Colombian coffee, with its excellent quality. I'm doing it with passion, with commitment. Oh, how good. And taking into account the hard work of over 540,000 coffee-growing families. How nice it is to join all of you. Well, I've served at different positions at the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation. I worked as an extension agent in Risaralda. I played the role of Professor Jarumo for 17 years, sharing many lessons with Colombian coffee growers, learning from them, and showing them examples to other coffee growers in the country. I was the Federation Chief Technical Officer, and currently I'm the Director of Guild Affairs. It's really an honor to work for the Colombian coffee-growing families. Let's start this journey through the history of Café de Colombia, through its achievements, until reaching this excellent quality drink. Cheers with you. Let's look at some figures of Colombian coffee farming that we want to share with you very proudly. First and foremost, the 540,000 Colombian families who, with commitment and responsibility, produce the coffee that we all drink. Colombian coffee.
El café que todos bebemos, el café de Colombia.
540,000 producers, among which there are 160,000 female coffee growers, businesswomen, female heads of household, women leaders, women who have really contributed to a better coffee farming in Colombia.
De la caficultura en Colombia.
A toast to all those Colombian coffee growing women.
Las colombianas. Hay un brindis.
Oh, and a toast to all the women in the world who also consume our coffee.
Bueno, y hablando de café.
Well, and talking about coffee, let me tell you that producers in Colombia, on average, have 1.6 hectares of coffee. This means that of the 540,000 producers, 95% have less than 5 hectares. Here in Colombia, north, in the south, in the east, and the west.
Daniela, we had a problem with the voice at the moment. Should we just stop for a moment?
Espérame, no escucha.
Share to help each other.
Daniela, can we stop for a moment because the voice is not, we cannot hear the recording at the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna just take it back a notch and replay it.
To all those Colombian coffee growing women.
Las colombianas. Hay un brindis.
Oh, and a toast to all the women in the world who also consume our coffee.
Bueno, y hablando de café.
Well, and talking about coffee, let me tell you that producers in Colombia, on average, have 1.6 hectares of coffee. This means that of the 540,000 producers, 95% have less than 5 hectares. In Colombia, there are mid-size and large coffee growers, but all united under the same federation, which always works for well-being of the Colombian coffee-growing families. Coffee creates about 2 million direct and indirect jobs. The contribution of coffee to Colombia's socio-economic stability is very important. Coffee is grown in 23 of the country's 32 departments. There is coffee in the north, in the south, in the east, and the west. And the bean is produced in 603 of the country's over 1,100 municipalities. Coffee can be smelled almost all around the country. One would say the territory of what now is Colombia was created as a privileged one for coffee production. And that's what we Colombians are doing.
Y eso es lo que estamos haciendo.
And I share other very interesting facts. 100% of coffee is handpicked very carefully throughout the year, and 45% of Colombian coffee growing families meet at least one sustainability standard. Their coffee crops are in harmony with the environment. There is immense responsibility for water care and forest conservation, wastewater treatment, because whoever loves the environment does not pollute. In Colombia, we have coffee in the south, in the north, in the east, and the west. And depending on those circumstances, coffee can be planted at heights going from 800 meters above sea level, for example, in the north, until 2,200 meters in Nariño, the south of the country. And of course, they all produce excellent quality coffee, Café de Colombia. Who are the Colombian coffee growers? Well, I've already told you that I was Professor Yarumo, and whenever we did the TV programs, we said, if you want to see the Colombia we dream of, visit a coffee region in any coffee department, because you'll get an idea of those 540,000 Colombian coffee growers, full of values, principles, transparency, solidarity, eager to share, to help each other. Whenever you go to a coffee farm, you find an extra lunch, an extra sancocho, stew, an extra bandeja paisa, meat, rice, and egg mix, extra fish, and an extra cuy, guinea pig, depending on the dishes of the country's different regions. All this shows the kindness and comradeship of Colombian farmers, dedicated, committed, and disciplined people, with great sense of belonging to their coffee institutions, their federation. From our ancestors, their legacy has been their tradition and values, with new generations still interested in growing coffee. People 100% dedicated to putting the best of themselves in 100% Arabica coffee produced in Colombia needs specific weather conditions. Although it is a produce of the tropics, its cultivation requires very special conditions of soil, temperature, rainfall, and specific altitudes or heights of sea level. We said that coffee could be grown from 800 meters above sea level on, but coffee in Colombia is usually grown at between 1,200 and 1,800 meters above sea level. The temperatures at which coffee is grown range from about 17 to 23 degrees Celsius. And rainfall is about 2,000 millimeters a year, distributed over 12 months. The following figure gives us an idea of the importance of work of Colombian coffee growers and their families. To produce a pound of roasted Colombian coffee, it is necessary to collect about 1,900 cherries or coffee fruits, of course, in optimal ripeness. Now let's look a bit at selection and wet milling. That is the post-harvest process, which includes pulping, washing, and drying of coffee cherries. Undoubtedly some of the most arduous, meticulous, and personalized steps throughout the coffee production chain. Quality coffee is obtained from these careful processes. Let's do the following math so that you can see the importance of quality coffee and commitment of Colombian coffee growing families. For collecting the number of ripe fruits required to obtain a pound of roasted coffee, it is necessary to wait patiently for a coffee tree to produce, in a whole year, a great number of cherries. A coffee growing family in Colombia, on average, produces 1,400 kilograms of export green coffee per year. That is about 2,360 pounds of 450 grams of roasted coffee. To produce this coffee volume, it is necessary to handpick, in harvesting, the equivalent of about 5.2 million coffee cherries, a huge number, which must be washed and dried to obtain a quality product, discarding defective beans in the process. Colombian coffee can only be exported if it meets minimum quality standards in force.
los cuales
which
son
are verified at all ports through which Colombian coffee is exported.
en Colombia,
The company that does this work is Alma Café, a branch of the
de
Federation.
la organización cafetera. Para
To ensure quality, the efforts of Colombian coffee growers do not end in their
no
territories.
terminan en su territorio.
Through the 100% Café de Colombia program, and this is very important,
100% café de
roasting
Colombia.
companies in all continents buy Colombian green coffee and sell it under their 100% Café de Colombia brands to consumers around the world.
100% café de Colombia a consumidores en todo el mundo.
Let's also look at cup profiles depending on the three zones: Northern Zone, Central Zone, and Southern Zone.
La zona sur. El café
Coffee in Colombia is grown in its three mountain ranges, the Eastern, Central, and Western Andes, as well as in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. It is grown in 23 of the 32 departments of the
23
country,
departamentos cafeteros.
almost from the Caribbean in the extreme north to the border with Ecuador in the
Ecuador
south.
en el sur. Nuestro diverso
Our
clima
diverse climate, topography, subsoil, and culture allow for a huge variety of unique fresh coffees available throughout the year. Each location offers a different cup profile. Let's see. What is aroma? It is the smell of brewed coffee. What is body? It is the density and persistence of flavor in the mouth, a kind of fullness degree.
y hay
And
diferentes.
there are different body types.
¿Y qué es la fragancia?
And what about fragrance? It is the smell of roasted coffee. And what
¿Qué?
is acidity? It is like the brightness of flavor of drink.
Colombia está
Colombia is divided into three zones. So let's look at each zone's cup profile. For example, in the north, acidity is medium and body is high, with chocolate and walnut notes.
chocolate y nuez.
The cup profile in the central zone features medium acidity and medium body, with fruity and floral
Y unas
notes.
notas frutal y
And what
floral.
is the cup profile of the southern zone?
De la zona sur.
Acidity is high and body is medium, with sweet and citrus notes.
Y las notas dulce y cítricas.
Well, and what about Colombian coffee exports? In the last 6 years, Colombia has been producing about 14 million bags a year, of which 13 million bags are exported, and 1 million remains for domestic consumption.
Sabor y delicioso olor es inconfundible.
Its exquisite flavor and delicious smell is
En
unmistakable.
las reuniones de la casa,
Coffee accompanies us every morning and even in the afternoon meetings with friends,
en la
in
familia.
doing business with the family, at
Un buen
events.
café siempre.
Good coffee is always a good option, the best company.
El café producto.
Coffee, a leading product in Colombia, has become a world
La
reference,
exportación de café.
and coffee exports continue growing thanks to producers' work.
Trabajo de los productores. Qué orgullo para
We
nosotros.
are so proud that our coffee is consumed all around the
Todos
world.
los países del mundo. Mire, nuestro principal.
Our main buyer is the USA,
Segundo,
followed by Japan,
tercero, Alemania.
Germany, and then Belgium,
Esto nos compra café.
Italy, the UK, Sweden,
Unidos,
Canada, South Korea,
Canadá, Corea del Sur,
Australia,
Australia,
Norway, Switzerland,
Suiza,
Greece,
Grecia.
and so on.
Mejor dicho, ay, todos
A lot of people in the world can taste a delicious Colombian coffee.
delicioso café de Colombia. Y
Now
ahora
let's talk about something that makes all Colombians feel proud and produces
todos
emotion,
los colombianos y que produce emoción
helping us have friends all over the world.
en todo el mundo es la
The
publicidad
advertising of Café de Colombia with Juan
con
Valdez,
Juan Valdés. Este
a character who symbolizes Colombian coffee growers, created in 1959.
1959. Y que
Every
cada
time we have a cup of Colombian coffee,
de café,
it reminds us of the importance of Colombian coffee growers' values and commitment,
el compromiso,
the advertising of our coffee.
la publicidad de nuestro café.
Colombian coffee on the label.
No solo en
Not only in Colombia, but around the world.
los programas de
The communication programs began in 1959 with the creation of the coffee farmer character who reflects the values and commitment to produce premium coffee.
con Juan Valdés.
With Juan Valdez and his history, Colombian coffee growers were undoubtedly innovative. because at that time, quality coffee supply to consumers was very limited.
Solo era muy limitada.
And it also seemed inconceivable that a group of producers in a country like Colombia could develop far-reaching, effective campaigns in markets such as North America and Europe, for instance. For several decades, Café de Colombia has been a pioneer in the industry, positioning the brand and being today the undisputed symbol of Colombian coffee and the thousands of coffee growers that produce it. It is one of the Colombian products with greatest recognition and penetration in the world. And here we are watching some examples of the 100% Colombian coffee campaign back in the 80s with Juan Valdez in different settings. And whenever we Colombians watch a campaign like this, reaching a lot of people around the world, we feel emotion, pride, identity with our country, and the desire to share a delicious Colombian coffee. This campaign is spectacular. In 2005, the second most recognized brand in the U.S. market was Café de Colombia. And while I drink this delicious Colombian coffee, I invite you to watch a couple of very successful commercials from the 100% Colombian coffee campaign. Cheers. Enjoy them.
All right, what can I get you? Let me get a double espresso latte, half decaf, medium foam, and dusting of Dutch coffee. Okay, thanks.
I'll have an Austrian goat milk cappuccino with a touch of Madagascar cinnamon.
Ordering the right cup of coffee has become quite complicated, unless...
I'll have one. He's having.
All you want is the richest coffee in the world. Just look for Juan Valdez. 100% Colombian coffee. Anything else just doesn't sound as good. More and more people are waking up to Juan Valdez and his 100% Colombian coffee. And so can you.
Buenos días.
Just look for Juan on the label. 100% Colombian coffee.
And now the new consumers are millennials, young people between 20 and 36 years old. For these consumers, coffee, rather than a product, is an experience with which they connect and identify in a way that finds value beyond the drink. These new consumers drink more specialty coffee than any other generation. They're interested in different types of drinks, willing to pay more for good coffee and getting involved with it. They even consider themselves coffee artists and experts. Café de Colombia, by understanding that the product generates emotional value in that target, developed a campaign that shows the relationship of young people with coffee, a modern one, cool, empowering them as owners of a product that represents Colombia. Now I invite you to enjoy this commercial, the new form of communication for Café de Colombia.
Colombia, the richest coffee in the world.
We are some of the heavyweights of coffee. He, she, they, everyone knows it. As viral as the internet itself, we have been a trend since we remembered it. We are the new wave of Colombian coffee. Bored with routines, tired of the usual, and a bit hard to be surprised, we have to accept it. That's why we don't stop trying. And when you drink the world, be it frozen, cold, hot, with raw cane sugar, cinnamon, or however, and our 100% Colombian coffee flavor never changes. It's still the one from here, even if we are there or no matter how European the press is. An international flavor, but with the essence of its origin, its tradition, its history. A flavor with so many notes that form a mega multicultural symphony. A mega culture with a name, Café de Colombia, made of what we are. Visit realacademiadelcafe.com and discover what we are made of. Thank you for joining us to talk about Colombian coffee. It's an honor for me to be here. Well, I now introduce Ronald Valero, a committed barista who has taken...
Thank you very much. As we continue to drink our Colombian coffee, I would like now to cede the floor to Juan Pablo Villota from Café San Alberto, Colombia's most award-winning coffee. Juan Pablo.
Hello to everyone and especially to the Gordon Blue attendees. Very happy to be with you. Thank you for the great explanation about the coffee. And also it's an honor for me to be with you, Turkey people, and also with the ambassador of Colombia and Daniela. So welcome to Colombia. Welcome to the Colombia coffee world. My invitation today is I'm a grower. I'm the third generation of a family that has been working with coffee since 1972. And my only challenge today is you can learn about Colombia, and especially from today on, you will make a little deal with us and you will only drink Café de Colombia. So let's go and let's see a very presentation. So you can see some of the highlights of the country. It'll be very fast. So just to let you know, and let's make a fast summary of the video. Colombia, we have 4 main facts of why we are unique and very special for the industry. And those are, first one, we only grow Arabica. Arabica and Robusta are both of them 2 types of coffee. Arabica is the fancy one, but it's very difficult to grow because it's very weak to the diseases and to the weather. In Colombia, we only grow the Arabica, the fancy one. And we have banned the Robusta. We don't want to sell Robusta because it's considered a cheaper quality. So once you visit Colombia, or every time you see a bag of Café de Colombia, you will see that it's 100% Arabica family. Under the Arabica, we have different varieties of the coffee. And the coffee is following the trend of the wine. It's not only Arabica, it's not only Colombia, it's also about the grower behind, and it's also about the variety of the Arabica that we have. The structure of the business, many families involved. As the video was saying, a little bit more than 500,000 families grow coffee in the country. That's a lot of Colombians involved. And the magical of these families are the small size per family, a little bit less than 2 hectares. My plantation, San Alberto, is 40 hectares and is considered a medium-sized farm in the country. And the last one will be the diversity. We are 32 states and we grow coffee in 22 of those. So from today on, once you have a bag of Café de Colombia, try to search for information. It's not enough to say Café de Colombia. Of course, it's a clue, but you have to go a little bit deeper. So Café de Colombia, from where, from who, and hopefully from what plantation you are having that coffee. So my geographical location, it's what we know as the coffee cultural landscape. You can surf that in the internet. It's 4 regions of the Colombia, very close together, mainly coffee growers that have been declared by the UNESCO as a World Heritage because of the culture around the coffee. So this is for saying to you that coffee for Colombia is not a game, and that coffee for Colombia, it's not only coffee. Around coffee, we have different gastronomy, music, literature, and of course, other crops around business. My region, it's Quindío, and the capital city of Quindío will be Armenia. If you want to visit Colombia, it's very easy. You can arrive to Bogota International Airport, and you can have a plane from Bogota to Armenia, and that will be the easier way to arrive to that region. That's the real actual view of my farm. This is taken from the main square of the town. We're in the smallest region of Colombia, Quindío. And this is actually why we are saying that this is a cultural landscape. You can see different intensities of green, different texture, different altitudes, different flowers. And of course, it's made with coffee. But around coffee, you will see different plantations of fruits and other crops. So let's see the real location of the farm. This is the map of Colombia. And we are very close to the left part of the map that will be close to the Pacific. So Buenaventura is our port in the Pacific, and we are like 3-4 hours from the Pacific port. So that's the magic of Colombia. Remember, we have 2 oceans, Atlantic and Pacific. We have diversity, and of course, this diversity, different altitude, different geographical location is going to give us different profile. Coffee as the wine is going to be related to the origin, the terroir. and the terroir is going to be also important according to the way you grow the coffee, your technique. So this is why you can find great coffees in any region of the country. We have coffee in the south, Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta, coffee in the south near Ecuador, Nariño, coffee in the east and west. Let's see a fast video of the view. So this is the plantation. We have even a tourism operation in the lower part of the plantation. We have some walking tours, some coffee tastings. You can visit the farm, you can visit the cafe, you can taste a great cup of coffee in the middle of the plantation. And of course, pay attention to the landscape. You can enjoy that view, just having fun and drinking a great cup of Café de Colombia. Okay, so this will be like the first part of this small session. So remember, Colombia is unique in the world of the coffee. And those 4 facts are the main reason why we are in this moment 3rd position in the world in volume, but we are lucky with the quality and we are considered the best coffee of the world. In volume will be Brazil #1, 2nd one will be Vietnam, 3rd one will be us, Colombia, 100% Arabica growers, then will be Indonesia, Indonesia will grow both Arabica and Robusta, and 5th and 6th position will be Ethiopia and Honduras. So let's go back to the presentation, so we can continue learning a little bit about the coffee. So San Alberto is my family plantation. As I was telling you at the beginning, we started the business back in 1972. It was my grandfather, the one who started. And today we're very proud because we are at the moment, Colombia most award-winning coffee. We have been winning coffee prizes since 2012. And this is mainly because our technique, our processes at the farm, and of course, it's very clear we have a special aid, is that our geographical location is giving us a special terroir. Different weather, different behavior of the weather is going to help us that those little red cherries that are the fruits of the coffee are the ones real magical at the end. Let's see very fast the coffee plantation process for those of you who have no idea how is the coffee processed. So the coffee is a tree. 9 months after we have a flowering, we'll have these cherries that you are seeing on the screen. The cherries are going to start ripening, and the red ripe cherries are the ones who are ready to be picked. So we pick it, different topographies on the plantations. These are the magical pickers. They are going to go into the field, and one by one, they are only going to sort and to harvest the red ripe cherry. And this is also a very big difference from Colombia to other countries. For example, Brazilians and Indonesians and some Vietnamese, they have mechanical picking. So of course they have very low cost of production, but the quality is very different from them to us. So we have some hand sorting. This is some of our South Korean customers. So we are accepting that in Colombia, when you harvest, you have different point of ripeness. And that's why we have a single mother's team from the little town where we are. And those ladies are going to sort only the red ripe cherries in order to build San Alberto coffee. Let's see a little video of the process. So this is how we plant the little seed. The coffee is a tree, 3 months in the nursery, 3 months in the greenhouse. And then we move the little tree to the field. And this tree is going to be with us 20 to 30 years. Every year is going to produce twice harvest. We process the cherry. Inside each cherry, we have 2 seeds. And that's the seed that we're going to see at the end of the process as roasted coffee. These seeds are going to be covered by a honey. So we are depulping in this moment, 2 seeds per cherry. And after we depulp it, we have to wash it. It's like a leche honey texture that is covering the seeds. We wash it with water and then we dry it. And the final product that we have at the farm is what we know as gold coffee or parchment coffee. So for those of you who are in love with the coffee, so remember, every time before you taste a coffee, at least that coffee has been in a coffee tree 9 months and at least 2 or 3 months in the warehouse and in the process. And you have to add that, into that time, you have to add the sea freight. That will be at least 1 or 2 months more. So whenever you have a good cup of coffee, remember, that coffee has been working at least 12 months. So that's why we are challenging all the world to say to them, we, the coffee, we must be at the same level of the kitchen. The chef, you are very professional people. And when you go to a restaurant and to join a team, the employee is going to see, here comes a very good chef that is going to help us to improve the quality and the creativity of the restaurant. We want to be with you, like you in the coffee. We want to be highlighted. We want to be like a wine bottle. We don't want to be just coffee. We want to be Café de Colombia, from where and from who. And we have the same reputation of a great chef or a great wine or a great whiskey. So let's continue. Let me see a little bit. 1 second. Okay, so here we go again. Sorry for the delay. It's too much screens in the computer. Okay, so let's continue with the video. So this is like the complete cycle of the process will be, remember the red cherry that you have at the beginning? We process the cherry, we wash it, we dry it, and we have the gold skin coffee or the parchment coffee. Then we send these gold beans to a factory and we peel the gold skin, and we have the green bean, that is the little beans that you have in left part of your screen. Then we roast it, but in Colombia business, we can export the coffee rather green or roasted. Lately, the new strategy of us is we got tired of exporting just green beans, so we are exporting roasted coffee, and it's part of the magic because the coffee has been roasted up to my personal palate. So it's like the bottle of wine. We are sending a roasted bag of coffee so you can enjoy the flavors of San Alberto according to us, the growers. So we have some coffee tourism in the business. So the origin, Colombia reputation have been growing very fast in the world. So many tourists are arriving to the country, and those of highlighted topics will be fruits, flowers, and of course, coffee. So this is how we do it. We have many visitors of gastronomy schools and academies worldwide because we are like entering the new high end of the cuisine is good food, good wine, good water, good tea, good chocolate, and of course, good coffee. This is some of our Bogota experience. We have different locations in Bogota and Cartagena. So we have been even playing with molecular tastings to change the texture of the liquid, thinking that the consumer is going to have a longer ceremony of coffee when they play with the foam or with nitrogen or even with that a honey of coffee. So this way we're like prolonging the experience of tasting, because when you taste a liquid, the experience is very short. During the pandemic, we have been launching a coffee session worldwide. We are sending a coffee set that I'm going to show you later. And this is like, we joined through Zoom, and we have been making these coffee sessions during pandemic since April, and has been a wonderful surprise for us. This is the coffee set. This is a little bit of the unboxing of that set. It's full of the raw coffee, the different material. So at the end, the idea is that using the virtuality, at least we can share a common passion that will be the coffee. And many consumers, the best consumers of the world of coffee, of Café de Colombia, are not in the country. The best consumers of Café de Colombia in the world are in the different countries: Turkey, Asia, Canada, the States, Germany. So that's where mainly the great consumers are based. So let's continue. So we're going, if you have a cup of coffee, we're going to the recipe. So if you want to follow me, I'm going to use the coffee. I'm ready. I'm going to turn on the other camera so you can see it. Let me search the other camera so we can switch it. Okay, here I have Okay, so here we are. So the idea is that we're going to brew 1 cup of coffee. And I'm going to use a very popular method lately that is known as the V60. So before we taste the coffee, I'm going to give you some advices of how to read a coffee bag. But at least I'm going to let you know that we're going to brew San Alberto in this brewing technique. So let's go back to the presentation so we can read together. This is some of our cafes. So here we are. So we have like 9 advices for you from today on. So the first one is try to search for information. We don't buy just a bottle of wine. When you buy a bottle of wine or a whiskey, you try to search for a specific characteristic or at least a specific brand. So remember, in Colombia, half a million families grow coffee, and we are distributed in 22 out of the 32 states. So saying just Café Colombia is a good clue, but it's not enough. So search it. From where? From Quindío region. From what town? Buena Vista. What type of Arabica have you inside the bag? Arabica Caturra and Arabica Castillo. What prices do you have? Some of the prices that we have been winning since 2012, and the date of roast, and the way we roast it in this way is medium roast. The second advice will be choose a brewing device. Just to let you know, remember we have 4 different brewing techniques that is going to summarize the way the water is going to pass through the coffee. Gravity, drip coffee, pressure, mocha, Italian or espresso, vacuum, the siphon vacuum, and immersion or infusion, the coffee press or the French press. Third advice will be the coffee water ratio. Specialty Coffee Association of America, they have been reading a lot of articles, and they have been saying that the burst ratio will be in between 7 and 9 grams of water, of coffee, sorry, against 100 milliliters of water. Fourth advice will be the grind particle. So that's why my invitation will be try to buy whole bean coffee instead of ground, because when you buy it whole bean, you can grind it at home. And when you grind it at home, you can play with the different sizes of the coffee, of the ground. If you are going to brew espresso or Turkish coffee, you needed a very, very fine coarse, a fine ground. If you are going to brew a coffee press, you need a coarse one. And if you are going to brew drip coffee, you will use a medium ground. The water, 98% of water of a coffee cup is water, so be careful with the quality of the water. 6th one will be the temperature. We don't use boiling water to brew coffee. And the boiling point of the water is going to be related with the meters above sea level. So today I'm here in Bogota. We're 27 meters above sea level. So the water in Bogota is going to boil around 92 Celsius degrees. But if I go to Cartagena, the boiling point, sea level, will be 100. So the boiling point is not the only tricky advice. You have to measure the temperature to be 100% sure that the temperature is not going to burn the coffee. So the ideal temperature will be in between 88 Celsius degrees and 90 Celsius degrees. 7th advice will be, same as a kitchen, your place of work, your station of the coffee must be clean and organized. So that's one of our main advices, and the easier one is clean it, keep it clean, keep it organized, because remember the coffee is very fragile. If you leave the coffee bag open, the coffee is going to oxidize. It's going to lose freshness, and maybe it's going to be contaminated by an onion of the kitchen, or maybe some of the cleaning devices. So that's why one of the main advice will be your coffee station must be clean and organized. Brew coffee and drink it fresh. The new trend is we brew it and we drink it. We don't keep it. If we want another cup, we're going to brew it again. And of course, same as a good whiskey, if you are drinking a standard whiskey, let's say Johnny Walker Red Label, that whiskey is very strong. You need something to help and to lower the intensity of the flavors. But if you're drinking a Blue Label, Johnny Walker, that Blue Label whiskey is so smooth, so rounded, that you don't need anything. Maybe just one ice or a little bit of water to open the whiskey. So in coffee, it's the same. Remember, before we taste this coffee have been at a coffee tree 9 months. The coffee that I'm going to brew today was harvested May 2020. We are in December, and we are in the same coffee, but we roast this last week. So a good coffee doesn't need any sugar. A specialty coffee, we roast the coffee lighter, so the flavors are going to be smoother, more acidity, more floral notes. And I agree with many of you that are maybe saying that you are not liking the specialty trend. It's okay, because the specialty trend is very, very soft coffees. And for those consumers that are used to the woody roasted notes of the coffee, you will never find it in a real specialty coffee. I'm going to share a little secret. Colombians, we are well known for the coffee also because our coffee entity, the one of the video, they have been building a cafe reputation worldwide. And one of the main policies of that entity is that we can export the low qualities, but no one is going to destroy those low qualities. So guess who is drinking the cheapest quality of Colombia? We, the Colombians, inside the country. So the normal Colombians, their palate is used to over roasted beans. And that coffee is going to be bitter, heavy, dry, a lot of bitterness, a lot of smokiness, but that's not good coffee. In Turkey, you will never find that type of quality of Colombian coffee, but of course you are receiving coffees from other countries that are allowed to export any bean of coffee. So that's why when you visit Colombia, you will taste the best coffee of your life, but of course you will also taste the cheapest of the cheapest coffee for the normal market of the country. So let's brew the coffee. I'm going to give the recipes for those of you who want to. So it will be, I'm going to use 8 grams of coffee against 100 milliliters of water, but I'm going to use 24 grams of coffee. So I'm going to brew 300 milliliters of water. And I'm going to use a medium-sized ground particle and the water temperature. So the first, I'm going to go back to the other screen. So you can see me brewing the coffee. Okay, so here we are. So the first thing is that I'm going to have the water. I'm a little bit far away from the kitchen of the coffee shop. So I have my coffee here, my water here, already heated, 90 Celsius degrees. And just with this movement, I'm expecting to lose at least 1 degree of temperature. So the first step will be, I have to clean the paper filter. Any paper filter can have strange odors. As we are in the specialty business, we are very concerned about the aroma and the flavor. So the first idea will be, let's add some water to the paper, and that way we will clean it. And this extra water is going to help me also to preheat the glass of the server. I'm going to throw away this water. And now we have the 24 grams of coffee. As you can see, right screen of your computer, you can see that the grind particle is almost like sea sand. So it's not so fine, not so coarse. So this is the best size for the B60. So I'm going to add the coffee. I have a scale under the device. And with this scale, same as any recipe, we must measure the amount of grams, measure the amount of water, and also we have to control the time, the extraction time. So this is why we must use a scale, and this is why coffee in the new trend is not considered a fast food or a fast coffee. These techniques in Asia is known as slow coffee. If you want a great cup of coffee, you have to wait at least 2-3 minutes. If you are in a rush, go to any of those big transnational companies. They will serve you a coffee in this type of kettles and enjoy. So this is a different approach of the coffee, fancy coffee, specialty coffee, and of course, a little bit more expensive than those big transnational companies. So I'm going to level the bed of the coffee. I have to have it even. Okay. So I'm going to start my scale. And the first movement will be just to add water and to make like a blooming. What's a blooming? It's what we know as adding 20% of the total recipe. I'm going to add 120 milliliters of water. And this way I'm like humecting the coffee. Coffee is very fresh, so the first movement of the coffee powder will be to absorb the water. And this pre-wetting or blooming, it's going to help us to have a better extraction. So I turn on the scale and also the timer. I have 120 milliliters of water over here. I'm going to wait some seconds, 30, 40 seconds. I'm going to continue and see my hand, the pouring is going to be making circles and the water is going to be very thin, very, very soft. We don't want to make a lot of saturation. And the movement, it's mainly made by the shoulder, not the hand. In that way, I am preserving even the coffee thickness, and that coffee thickness is going to help us to have a very even extraction. Meanwhile, I'm going to preheat my coffee cup because this method, we have only two threads, timing, and the other one will be the temperature. If this one is not too hot, maybe once I add the coffee, I'm going to lose the temperature very fast. We are missing like 1 minute before we finish the brewing. Some other advices is that when you go to a supermarket and you have a coffee bag like this one, try to smell. And maybe if you have your bag already open, try to smell it. The nose is more important than your palate. What we smell is what we taste. So if you smell a coffee bag and the coffee bag is smelling like roasted, by roasted lighter, like sweet, chocolate, caramel, spices, not only woody, cigar smokiness, maybe you are in front of a good cup of coffee. And before you taste it, we're going to smell the aroma of the coffee. So fragrance when the coffee is whole bean or ground, and we call this also dry position. And aroma is when the coffee enters in contact with the water, this one. All the vapors are known as aroma. I have finished here my coffee. I'm going to throw this water, the one that I preheat the cup, and see the color of this coffee. Remember, specialty coffees, we roast the beans lighter. So the color is not going to be black. The color is going to be a little bit brown. If I add extra gram of coffee, the coffee color is going to still be a little bit lighter. So don't expect in the new trend this intensity of color, the black one. No, the coffee, specialty coffee, we roasted lighter. Remember the caramelization of the products. In this type, we are caramelizing the bean. So we want to give temperature in order to have the Maillard reaction, but we want to keep it lighter in order to give you the opportunity to taste and to feel the great aromas and the great flavors of a coffee bean. So I'm going to serve it. And my first appreciation will be the aroma. So when I smell this aroma, to my mind is coming mainly fresh notes, sweet, floral, and I can like link it with some red fruits and maybe some maple syrup. So first approach, this coffee seems to be lighter, fruity, and a bit sweet. And when I drink it, you can feel that the coffee is very soft. Remember, Café Colombia is known as the best washed soft coffee of the world. Wash it because we depulp it and we wash the honey, that we call it like the leche one, and soft because the profile. Our coffees are very elegant. So don't expect high body from a Colombian coffee. We are mainly known because of the elegance of the coffee. So once I taste it again, I feel some salivation happening. It means that we have acidity, but that acidity is not citrical. This acidity is more malic. It's going to be more related to the apple one or to the cherry one. So it's juicy, but it's not so intense. And the aftertaste is going to be sweet. And my mouth is full of flavor, but it's not so strong. and my only desire is to continue drinking one more sip of coffee. My last invitation is a great cup of coffee like San Alberto. We must taste it in different temperatures. When the coffee is too hot, your palate is going to be confused, but when the coffee loses temperature, it's going to open. A good coffee is going to taste better when you lose some temperature. A low quality coffee is going to be almost impossible to drink it once it's cold. No sugar, no cream, no milk, only with the cappuccino, because the cappuccino is espresso based, pressure. But for this new trend, using gravity, vacuum, or immersion, my invitation will be no sugar, no milk, no cream. Just play with the amount of coffee and the amount of water, brew it slowly, and pay attention to the coffee you are going to drink. Search it, and let's try to replicate the same experience at home or at work or at restaurant that we are making when we buy a great bottle of wine. We don't ask just for red wine. We start saying, do you have French wine? Yes. From what region? Beaujolais or Bordeaux? From what micro-region? Margaux. And hopefully we are healthy and wealthy. Maybe we can drink a Chateau Margaux, Chateau Lafite, and that's our dream, to become a grand cru of coffees and to be a great ambassador of Café de Colombia in the world. So I'm going to keep drinking my coffee. Salud, cheers for you. I'm going to share my screen just to finalize. So this is one of the houses of the farm. This is the view from the coffee shop that we saw. So my only last words will be, let's take care so we can meet soon. Some of my contact info for you if you want to continue talking about coffee. Coffee for me, it's not only a work, it's a hobby. So I really enjoy talking about coffee. So I'm one of those lucky persons that works in a hobby. And I'm sure that many of you who are studying in the Gordon Blue, you are also seeing the kitchen as a hobby. So we are the lucky ones of the world, because many people is just working in a computer and they really hate the work. I'm one of those who love coffee, so I enjoy talking about coffee. So let's keep in touch. Those are my personal information. And that will be. So salud, cheers.
Thank you. That was lovely. Thank you very much. Çok teşekkür ederiz. Gerçekten keyifli. Juan Pablo. Evet, zannediyorum Şef Mark da hazır. Onun için biz de şimdi chatte de bir soru görmedim. Ama eğer Juan Pablo'ya bir sorumuz varsa chat'e yazabilirsiniz isterseniz. Evet, bu güzel manzaraları gördükten, mis kokulu buradan ekranlarımızdan hissettiğimiz kokuyla bu güzel kahveyi de gördükten sonra pek de bir soru yok zannediyorum. O zaman evet, diğer ekrandan da Şef Mark'ı görüyorum. Şef Mark da bize bekliyorlar. Daniela, do you have anything to add at the moment? Should we continue with Chef Mark's little recipe?
Please move on, Chef. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're looking forward to learning how to, bring together the delicious French cuisine with our wonderful coffee. It's like a match made in heaven. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Teşekkür ederiz. Sözü Şef Mark'a bırakabiliriz.
Excuse me, Chef. I believe that we are not having the sound. May we please stop 1 second while we fix the sound, because I believe that none of us are getting it at the moment. And in the meantime, it will take us just a minute.
Değerli misafirlerimiz, sesi bir kontrol edeceğiz.
Colombia makes the richest coffee in the world. We are some of the heavyweights of coffee. He, she, they. Everyone knows it. As viral as the internet itself, we have been a trend since we remembered it. We are the new wave of Colombian coffee. Bored with routines, tired of the usual, and a bit hard to be surprised, we have to accept it. That's why we don't stop trying. And we drink the world, be it frozen, cold, hot, with raw cane sugar, cinnamon, or however. And our 100% Colombian coffee flavor never changes. It's still the one from here, even if we are there or no matter how European the press is. An international flavor, but with the essence of its origin, its tradition, its history. A flavor with so many notes that form a mega multicultural symphony. A mega culture with a name. Café de Colombia, made of what we are. Visit realacademiadelcafe.com and discover what we are made of.
Evet, biraz daha bekletiyoruz, kusura bakmayın. Şefi görebiliyoruz ama şu anda duyamıyoruz.
In the meantime, if you allow me, I would just like to take the opportunity to tell our guests that over time, we have been working on different initiatives to promote Colombian coffee in Turkey. And in Istanbul, in Kadıköy municipality, we have a big mural by Vertigo Graffiti. It is a 200 meters mural reflecting Colombian little coffee grower. So I invite you all to see these initiatives if you have time, especially to those people living in Istanbul. I will just forward a little link to if it's okay on the chat, so that you can check out these initiatives if you have time, and also get more information on Colombian coffee. I will as well share little videos on YouTube. So if you participants are curious, then I invite you to go there and learn a little bit more about our coffee culture.
Stephanie, your sound is, I think, muted.
Misafirlerimize bir uyarıda bulunmak istiyorum. Şefi duyabilmeleri için French'e geçmeleri gerekiyor. İngilizce konuşuyor olsa bile birkaç tane kanal olduğu için farklı alanlarda farklı konuşmacıları duyuyorsunuz. Bunun için lütfen misafirlerimiz FR'ye geçsinler. Evet, Şef Mark'a da çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Katılımcılarımıza da çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Şu anda Daniela'yı göremiyorum ekranda ama zannediyorum o da bizimle beraber. Çok keyifli bir etkinlik oldu, çok yönlü bir etkinlik oldu. Bunun için de Kolombiya Büyükelçiliğine sonsuz teşekkürler. Evet, Daniela. Hello. Thank you very much for this lovely event. It was actually a very beautiful, multi-disciplined event that we had. Looking forward to be in Colombia one day. Yes.
That would be lovely. Thank you so much to Le Cordon Bleu for hosting our event, and to you and your team. It was a pleasure, and I think we are successfully adapting to the circumstances, the COVID circumstances. And this is what it's important, I believe, because we're still being active and promoting the cultural exchange between our countries. So we look forward to continue to do so, no matter the circumstances. We are here and we're happy to share from our culture with the Turkish community, and especially like in such a setup, and to be able to integrate Colombian coffee to your cuisine and to your expertise and your excellency at the Academy was truly a pleasure. Thank you also to all the people that joined today. Thank you for your interest in Colombia. And please be reminded to those that completed our registration contest that the coffee is on the way, so they will receive it very soon, and they're gonna receive very, very special coffee samples that we hope they will enjoy. Thank you and have a good night. Thank you also to your chef. Bye bye.
Thank you Daniela. Teşekkür ederiz. İyi akşamlar diliyoruz tüm katılımcılarımıza.